So very recently, the Daily Caller went around Minnesota and asked just regular people what they think about riots as a form of protest and if it's legitimate. And we got some really interesting answers. Why don't we take a look at the video and see what they have to say here?
If you're being violent, if you're destroying property, I don't think that's cool.
I think it's an okay form of protest.
I see. So already in the beginning here, you've got two vastly different answers right off the bat.
Hey, I'm Lisa with the Daily Caller. Today we are north of Minneapolis in Brooklyn Center, and we're in Washington, D.C., asking people what they think of riots and looting. Let's see what they say. What do you think about rioting?
A lot of the looting that happened in Ferguson, just like here, is only caused by opportunists.
Like change needs.
There you go. So he's saying that it's not even caused by the locals, which makes sense. Or it's not caused by, if it is caused by locals, it's caused by people who are not trying to protest or riot. They just want to get something for nothing. They just want to cause a ruckus because it's enjoyable. I mean, we walk around our whole lives not being able to smash in windows on buildings, not being able to burn buildings down. It's like, oh, there's that. I think all of us pretty much get that feeling of, oh, well, wouldn't it be so nice if I just could, like if I just could smash this thing. But you know, that's illegal, so you can't do that.
Like change needs to be made, and if it's not getting done in the traditional avenues, then rioting is a good option.
No, rioting is never a good option. This young woman here who said that, man, that is just a ridiculous answer, because what if it was your storefront? What if you were there alone at night? You know, it's about time to close up shop, and then all of a sudden a riot comes to your neighborhood and you're all by yourself. This is not, she looks like she's fairly tall, but she's obviously not an athlete.
It's a good option.
I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, the people that were looting are not from this area.
There you go. See, 9 times out of 10, people are not from this area.
Rioting is what gets people's attention, then I think that's necessary.
When there's something like this goes on, the opportunistic people come out and they try to dehumanize this.
I mean, I think all...
Now, it's interesting that they're doing like this male-female divide. They're also doing a white-black divide at this point in the video. That's actually really interesting. You would think if you just saw this part of the video, you'd be like, wow, white women are all like for the rioting. That's really crazy. And black men are like, I don't want any riots. But I think later on in the video they get into a more mixed bag.
All violence is bad violence, but in the case when systems aren't responding to any other forms of change, I can understand people getting frustrated to the point that they need to take other avenues.
Okay, so that was an example of an idiot, of an ignoramus, a person who does not expand their mind into the truth, which is the systems are not there to harm people, and the systems are not harming people. You got police killing about 1,000 people a year in a country of 330 million. That's not even a drop. That's a tiny little itty bitty drop that you wouldn't even be able to see probably. And they're not worried. These young women, they don't say anything about, oh, all of the other people who are dying in the country due to homicide, which the police stopped. You know, these women are the same women who say, oh, you know, Ma'Khia Bryant, she should have shot the gun out of her hand, or he should have shot the knife out of her hand. You can't do that. You can't just shoot a knife out of somebody's hand. This isn't TV. Let's see what this guy has to say. He's a little bit.
We ain't gotta be out here doing the dumb shit. The one that is doing the dumb shit is the ones that's taking this shit to a different toe.
I think that...
Yeah, that guy has it right. The people who are doing the stupid stuff are taking it too far. The people who are rioting, that's taking it too far. You're not making me your friend. If you think these riots are okay, you're not making me your friend at all.
That there's a lot of systematic oppression within the United States, and that looting and rioting is very small in comparison to that.
No, you're an ignoramus again. These people don't know the truth of the situation. Where's all the systematic oppression? You want to talk about how people are oppressed, they don't have a voice, so this is the only way they can have a voice. Okay, what about my voice? I don't have a voice. Look at my view count. I'm a white guy. You sit here and say, well, you know, you have a voice because there's no systematic oppression. Yeah, okay. It's not. These people are so just out of touch with reality. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin.
Those are two different separate. We have protesters and then we have rioters.
We're human and we want to be treated with respect, so we got to come out here and show we are human and bring respect.
I do think that rioting is okay.
I do think that rioting is okay. All these white women just saying, where's she at? There she is. I do think she's in Washington D.C. She thinks that rioting is okay. Again, what if this comes to your neighborhood? What if this comes to your business? What if you're all alone and you get caught up in this and they see you as a white woman? You're the bad person because you're white. What's going to happen to you?
Is okay.
And they disguise themselves as protesters, but really they're just out here just to cause damage. And when the damage is done, they go back to their neighborhoods and they're back to their communities where none of this is going on.
I hesitate.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like this was all, a lot of these riots were staged, or they were set up to be riots. We got the reports of people dropping off piles of bricks because they knew there was going to be protesting in that area, so they wanted to make sure that it turned violent and that people smashed the buildings so that they can press their agenda. I don't know who's doing this stuff, leaving this equipment around for people to use to conduct their rioting, but a lot of this is not happening organically. It's happening because people are manufacturing it.
I hesitate on when there's violence involved, but I also understand that when violence is involved, it's normally because there's no other way to get your point across.
Yeah, tell that to Micaiah Bryant, who was trying to stab somebody. They're over there assaulting people. There's no other way to get your point across. We got to stab them to get my point across. Yeah, okay. Wow, these people, man, it's scary.
Little kids that have to look out here and see this, and nobody is concerned.
I don't think rioting or any form of violence is okay, but I also understand that their voices have been silenced for a long time.
Yeah, my voice has been silenced my entire life. I have the smallest view count for a YouTuber who's as active as I am. I'm sure. And this person would say, "Oh no, your voice is heard. You're white, so it doesn't matter. You already have everything set up the way that you want it to be." It's like, are you kidding me? My boss is black. His boss is a woman. So don't give me this garbage about how, black people and women are so oppressed. No, it's not true. You have the right to go and do whatever you want to do in this country as long as it's legal. And there's no law saying, hey, you can't do something because you're black, or you can't do something because you're a woman. There's no laws. There are laws saying that about men. Hey, you can't do something because you're a man. So I don't know where these people get this idea from, but they really need to educate themselves.
A lot of rioters are just kind of using the situation to just steal stuff, and I don't stand by that.
They feel like they're silenced, so that's what they're doing to make it loud and everyone can hear them. So yeah.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. Again, covering the news of the riots here in California, in LA County. They were covering the news in LA County, and there was a business owner who was Hispanic. He came on, he's like, "Oh man, they smashed my store. It's great that they did that because they're fighting for something bigger than my store." So I'm like, are you insane? This guy is insane. These people, they don't even understand how this is a bad thing. It's a bad thing for you to have your store smashed, okay? Yeah, they smashed your store and they took your money, and that's no big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm okay. Are you kidding me?
I support it.
That's not how it should be. That shouldn't be the norm. That shouldn't be happening at all. It's
Right.
really gross.
You feel for the people the businesses and all that, but at the same time, both sides of the aisle do it. And
Both sides of the aisle? What are you talking about? Where are these where are these right-wing groups that are smashing up buildings? Where are they at? Are you talking about the January 6th stuff? The one thing that happened that wasn't even a riot. It was an insurrection, right? And furthermore, it was pretty poor example of an insurrection. So you want to talk about an insurrection, what we see happening with this, all this rioting from Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they are carrying out an insurrection. That's just all it is that you look at the mob rule here. There was definitely reasonable doubt in the Chauvin trial. There is, Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense. You have Nicholas Reardon, who shot Micaiah Bryant, whatever her name is. He was acting in defense of others. You have the, what was the one? Can't remember now, but the guy that got shot by the cop, he had a knife. He was taking some kids and he had a knife. And now he's paralyzed from the waist down. The cop was acting in defense of others, but everybody wants to point the finger at the cops and say, look, the cops are doing things bad. And the general public, like this young lady right here, agrees. Overthrowing the authority, that's what an insurrection is. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it.
and people are just kind of pointing fingers right now.
Peaceful protest has more impact on what's going on.
Martin Luther King said something similar in his letters to Birmingham jail, similar to something like the riot is the voice of the unheard.
Yeah, so that guy was in Minnesota. I'm not surprised to hear him say that. That's what I would you would assume is like, oh, yeah, the black people are going to be siding with the black people who are, BLM, for example. But we haven't seen that throughout this video, really. This is one guy who's like, oh, yeah, the riot is the voice of the unheard. No, the riot is the voice of a person who is a whiny little baby. Now, there are times when rioting is good. Look at what we had with the Revolutionary War. You call that riots. I call this a revolutionary war. They're trying to form a revolution, and it's becoming a bloody revolution. It's not right. It would be right if there was a need for it, but we've already done this peacefully. We've already made these changes peacefully. Just because black people are not on equal footing with white people, that's not because of the system. Maybe it is, but you have to prove that. And then if you can prove that and then say, hey, look, it's not changing. We're not changing it. Then I can understand you rioting. But we've gone through everything we can to try and change the system to make it better for black people. Black people are still behind white people. Well, whose fault is it then?
I'm strongly against anyone damaging a store or looting, that type of thing. I think that's excessive.
When it comes to these riots, it's just the community saying enough is enough.
How can you tell somebody, the rage that you're feeling, channel your rage, or there's better ways to do stuff, because you don't know what somebody's going through internally.
If you feel like you need to lash out, then don't get mad when people, address you as a looter or
yeah. This guy gets it. I like this guy.
Rioter.
So that's the end of that. If you want to peacefully protest, hey, you have the right to do that. I don't agree with your message. I'm going to probably disagree with you. Most of the time when people are protesting, peacefully protesting, it's because they're the extreme. Right? I've seen peaceful protesters out here, not that far from where I live, in front of the government center here, on a regular basis. Usually it's just like a few people, 1 or 2, 3. When the George Floyd stuff happened, it was a big deal, but for the most part, it's just a couple people, and they protest all sorts of different things. They just stand there in front of the government center with their signs. But yeah, I don't agree with what you're saying, most likely. Especially you want to talk about burn, loot, mayhem. Burn, loot, and mayhem. They are always about we got to destroy the family, tear down the system, and all this and that, and the other thing. And the people and the leaders. We just saw the article come out not that long ago about one of the leaders of Burn, Loot, Mayhem is buying mansions all over the country. It's like, what? You're doing this for money. That's what this is all about. A lot of these nonprofit organizations, it's all about the money. They want to get that money. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. And if they have to kill all sorts of people to get to where they want to be, they don't care. They don't know you. They don't care about you. Come on. 330 million people in this country, and you think that you can care about all of them? You can kind of have a general sense of, I want everybody to be well and happy in this country. I get that. But you don't really care about them. You don't really care. If you really cared, you'd stop using your iPhone. Because how's that made? No, slave labor. If you really cared, you would demand that car manufacturers stand up and say, hey, we're not going to go through using slave labor or in dangerous work conditions for children and things like that. But all this modern stuff that we have in this country is because the rest of the world suffers to some degree. So we don't have to. Hey, I'm just calling it what it is. That's what it is. I can't tell it to you any other way. If you don't like it, there's nothing I can do about it. Still dealing with computer problems. That's going to be all probably resolved next week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate everybody supporting my channel and the work that I do here. I'll see you all next time.